There's a story in the book of Joshua just before the people of Israel go to march on Jericho, where Joshua sees an angel. He says, the angel of the Lord. It may have even been Jesus, standing behind him with a drawn sword in his hand. And Joshua says, "Are you for us or are you for our enemies?" Initially, of course, he thinks he's just seeing some great warrior, some great general. He doesn't recognize immediately that this is a supernatural being. But he asks this question, whose side are you on? And the angel of the Lord answers and says, "Neither. But as captain of the Lord's hosts, I am now come." And at that moment, Joshua falls on his face in worship. Recently, I was praying and just spending some time worshiping the Lord, and that word, neither, hit me. It just hit me so hard because I recognized the holiness of God in this new way. We sing about God being on our side and God being our friend, and there's truth in that, and there are other scriptures that speak of God being on the side of his people. But there is still a sense in which he is not on my side. He's not on your side. He transcends it all. His purposes, his kingdom transcend it all. And when we encounter the holiness and the nature of God in that way, we have a decision to make, whether we're going to worship, whether we're going to value him for who he is, or whether when he doesn't do things our way, or he seems to not be on our side, we are going to decide we've had enough of it and we're going to walk. So yesterday on my blog, I wrote about the story at the end of Matthew 8. It's the story often called the miracle of the swine, or the miracle of the Gadarene demoniacs. So Jesus was in this area called the Gadarenes, and he encountered two men who were demon-possessed, and he cast the demons out. But before he cast them out, the demons requested that they would be allowed to go into this massive herd of pigs, a herd of swine that were feeding nearby. And Jesus allowed them to do that. And as soon as they entered the pigs went crazy. They went berserk, and they ran down a steep hill into the sea, and they drowned. Now, pigs can swim, so the drowning had to do, again, more with the demonic torment that they were experiencing and the insanity that they experienced. And the demoniacs went back to their city, and they told their people what Jesus had done, and the pig keepers ran back to the city, and they told the people all about it. And the people of the city came out, and Matthew says they begged Jesus to leave, to go away. See, Jesus had done something tremendously valuable for them. He had delivered two men from demonic control and given them back to their people. He had removed this violent threat that had stopped people from even traveling through that area. So in that sense, he had been on their side. He had given them a gift. But in another sense, what he allowed to happen cost them something. A herd of pigs like that, Mark lets us know there were at least 2,000 pigs. That was a lot of economic investment for these people. They were worth maybe $500,000. And so what Jesus allowed to happen cost them something significant in financial terms, in terms of earthly security, in terms of, they had put a lot of work and time and effort into that herd of pigs, and now it's just gone. And in that moment, they're facing the Son of God, and there is that sense of neither. He's not on your side. He's on the side of the kingdom. He's on his own side, and he's working bigger purposes in our world and in our lives than what we maybe think is important right in this moment. I know this is a little bit of a funny message to give as an encouragement. You might be listening to this and thinking, well, this is not good news. This doesn't make me happy. But see, we have this challenge. When Jesus does something in our lives and it costs us, because sometimes it does, and sometimes we don't understand why. We don't understand what he's doing. When he does something in our lives and it costs us, we have to make a choice whether we are going to worship and invite him in and say, yes, Lord, your purposes, your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven, even if I don't understand the immediate consequences, even if it costs me something. We can choose to do that, or we can choose to do what the people of the Gadarenes did and say, Lord, please leave. I don't want you messing up my life anymore. Please leave. This is a real experience that we have in our spiritual lives. Just this last Sunday, I felt like the Lord really challenged my heart. And the challenge that came in, and I wrote about this on the blog as well, but basically it was, when Jesus does not do what you want him to do, does he become more valuable in your eyes because you see him as he is, because you understand that his purposes are greater? Does he become more valuable in your eyes? Or do you begin to despise and reject him because he isn't doing what you want? That's a serious challenge today, and I offer it to you. I don't know what's going on in your life. I don't know if this message hits home for you or if it's just kind of an interesting side note. But this is what I wanted to share with you today. Bless you. I'll see you next week. I'm Rachel Starr Thompson. I blog on the Kingdom of God at rachelstarrthompson.com. If you head over there, you can read the blog post that I referenced in this video, and you also can get a free book on the Lord's Prayer if you just enter your email address. So please head over there, rachelstarrthompson.com, and I look forward to staying in touch with you.